Hello everybody, welcome to the video. Today we're playing on the C64 today, but for different reasons this time. It's going to be a C64 memories video. So this is an idea that came up with ages ago, but like many things, just keep pushing further and further back. But today's the day I'm going to do it. And I've seen a few other channels do this sort of thing, but on the ZX Spectrum, I thought, why not? Let's do one for the C64. Now, it's not technically a top 10. It says 10 moments in no particular order that I remember very, very well from growing up in the 80s and playing on the C64. I love it. But anyway, let's start off with a C64 memories video. Let's go. Okay, for a starting point, we're going to go for Barbarian. Barbarian, the Ultimate Warrior, is a fighting game first released on the Commodore 64 personal computers in 1987. The title was developed and published by Palace Software and ported to other countries in the following months. Developers licensed the games to Apix, who published it as Death Sword in the United States. Barbarian is a fighting game that gives players control over sword-wielding barbarians in the game's two-player mode. Players pit their characters against each other. Barbarians also has a single-player mode in which the player's barbarian braves a series of challenges set by an evil wizard to rescue the princess. It's a brilliant game, and when this game first came out, I was 5 years old, and I didn't actually have it on cassette. I had it on a disc drive. One of our friends from school copied that floppy, and I've still got it. But I was a big fan of beat-em-ups back in the day, and bear in mind, at the age of 5, I saw that for the first time. I'd never seen anything like that in a computer game, and neither had my brother at the time. But I was absolutely blown away by it, and just kept on playing it again, just to see people's heads getting decapitated and kicked off the screen by an evil goblin. It's a brilliant game. But unfortunately, to this day, I still don't have any boxed versions in my collection. I used to have a boxed version of the Amiga version, but unfortunately, over the years, it's gone astray, which is a shame, because of course, it's very well known for the artwork, of course. How can one forget Maria Whittaker on the front of the case? Which did cause quite a lot of controversy. That and getting your head decapitated. There we go. Brilliant. Absolutely superb game. And I love the music as well. Completed it many, many times. But I've played it on the C64 more. But there we go. Barbarian on the C64. Okay, for my next pick, I go for one of my favourite games on the C64. This is Trojan Warrior, and I have long played this on my channel. It's a brilliant game. And I bought this with my own money in the old days from John Menzies. Didn't cost me much, but it didn't in the old days. A mysterious horseman who rides a winged stallion has come from another time and place to save a princess whose awesome magical powers have been used against her will for the forces of evil. Shoot creatures to gain weapons, collect flashing orbs, add to existing weapons, and enter the time tunnel at the end of the level. Once in the time tunnel, you must avoid contact with all the walls. Failing to do so will result in you replaying the level you just did. And it's absolutely brilliant. There was multiple reasons why I bought this game in the old days. I was actually drawn to the artwork. Also, because of R-Type, that made me a big shoot-em-up fan. And also, I was also a big fan of the Clash of the Titans, which came out in the year 1981. I wasn't born then. I was born in 82. When I finally saw it, I was absolutely blown away by it. I loved it. So it gave me the sort of brief opportunity to try and be what you would probably feel like to be Pegasus, a flying horse. And it's brilliant. I absolutely love it. I played this game to absolute death, and a lot of my friends did as well. So once you get to the end of the level, you enter the time tunnel, and you must avoid all contact with the walls. But again, bear in mind I was very young as well. Like Barbarian, I've never seen anything like this in a game before. It's brilliant. I just kept playing it over and over and over again. And I love the music too. Since then, I know quite a few games, mostly on the Amiga, that do have these sort of sections, including Tarleton 2, Project X, Armalite, and I suppose in a way, Z-Out and Gym Power. But on the C64, there's not many I know. Certainly not in the old days. But yeah, over the course of the game, this will actually get a lot faster. And yeah, it's brilliant. It's absolutely superb. So if you get to the end, you go to the next level. Make contact with a wall, and you go back to the level it's done. And there we go, next level.
Another visitor. Stay a while. Stay forever.
There we go. What more do you need to say? It speaks for itself, literally. Another superb game, Impossible Mission, came out in the year 1984. Impossible Mission is a video game originally written for the C64 by Dennis Caswell and published by Pix in 1984. The game features a variety of gameplay mechanics from platform and adventure games and includes digitalized speech. And that is what makes it such a brilliant gaming memory for me. Again, I'd never seen, or in this case heard, anything like that before. I couldn't believe what I just heard in the old days. The C64 was actually speaking to me. And it was very, very clear. And it was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And bear in mind, you know, 1984, I was 2. What a game. But I've never actually finished it on the C64. I completed the remakes. It was remade for the PlayStation 2 and also the PSP, in which I do have both of them in my collection. I've completed those. But I've never, ever, ever completed this one before. But it is such a good game. But maybe one day I'll get a long play on my channel. From 1985 to 1988, the game was released on the Apple II, Atari 7800, ZX Spectrum, Acorn Electron, BBC Micro, Amstrad CPC, and the Master System. But it's only the PlayStation 2 and PSP and the C64 versions I've actually seen. But again, brilliant. But yeah, fantastic. Okay, for my next gaming memory, I've gone for Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote. Another superb game, but I haven't played it for absolutely years. But again, what makes this a nice memory for me is not only did I buy it with my own money, I got it from John Menzies again, bought so many games from there. Got on the bus, went into town and bought it for about £2, something like that. But yeah, a brilliant game. But again, what makes it a really nice memory for me is I actually completed it on my first attempt. So I bought it, went home, played it and finished it on my first attempt. But also, I'm a big fan of Wile E. Coyote. I was always rooting for Wile E. Coyote. I also like Roadrunner. But in this game, Wile E. Coyote can actually win. Even though we're not actually controlling as Wile E. Coyote. But if you lose, it's not a bad thing because I'm always rooting for Wile E. Coyote. Now this one does have two different perspectives. You have this one and there's a road which you run along continuously while avoiding Mr. Coyote's continuous attacks. Now, you can top up your energy by picking up seeds. But there's a twist, because some seeds are good seeds, and some seeds are bad seeds. And there's not a lot of difference between the two. But the bad seeds are grey and yellow. The good seed is brown and yellow, so there's not really a lot between the two. But you'll know if you're eating bad seed, because your energy will start to drain. And you'll know if you're eating good seed, because your energy will start to grow. But basically, what you got to try and do is last the time that is at the bottom of the screen. Not a lot of music in this game. I have to admit, I don't remember it being so quiet. It's a brilliant game, though. The cartoons of Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote are recreated with this action game. You control Roadrunner himself in two distinct stages, each with repeated 4 times with increasing difficulty. In the first, Roadrunner must peck as much seed off the ground in a single screen as he possibly can, while avoiding the traps and dangers from Wile E. Coyote, which he throws at you from the sky. The more seed you can peck, the better your chances are in take 2. This is take 2. This involves running away from Wile E. Coyote, jumping the traps that he has laid, and finally reaching the safety of the big drop, which you can clear and watch Wile E. Coyote himself fall, just like he would do in the cartoons. And again, you've got to basically stay alive for the time that's on the screen. At the moment, we have 20 seconds remaining. Any fruit you can pick up is also a bonus. Additional points is always nice. But we've got so many hazards here. We've got barriers, we've got planes, we've got cactuses, and other things as well, like drain covers and bugs and that sort of thing. Keep collecting, keep avoiding, and he'll do his comical thing like he would do in the cartoons. But again, not a lot of sound effects. But again, I loved it. Brilliant game. There we go, Mad Balls. There's a game that doesn't really get mentioned, but I absolutely love it because I was a big fan of Mad Balls. Okay, another one of my favourite games, which makes it a very nice memory for me, is Mad Balls. Now, it's a really nice memory for me because I was such a big fan of Mad Balls. And to be honest, I still am. I still buy them from time to time, and I'm trying to get the full collection. But to see this in the shop for the first time, I had no idea there was actually a Mad Balls game. So I didn't waste much time in getting it. Mad Balls is a series of foam toy balls originally created by Amtoy, a company of American greetings. Now Cloudco Entertainment in the mid-1980s, later being revived by Art Asylum in 2007 to 2008, and Just Play Incorporated in 2017 and 2019. The balls incorporated gross-out humour, and each was given a character synthesis with the odd name. The toy line expanded into the franchise with comic books, direct-to-video cartoons, and video games for the Sega Spectrum, Amstrad CPC, and Commodore 64. And it's absolutely brilliant. I love it, and I have completed it. It took me a lifetime to do it, but eventually got that first time completion. But it's a brilliant game. But what you got to try and do is knock the Mad Balls off the edge. The problem is you only have one life. At the moment we are Dust Brain. Now I would show you my Mad Ball of Dust Brain, but unfortunately she's got a green face. So the green screen behind me is going to eliminate her face. So that'd be Face Off. But anyway, we've actually knocked two of them off the edge. One of them is a bad ball, which is Fist Face. That's the blue one. And the green one is Series 1, which is Slobberless. One of the main, or certainly one of the most popular in the series. But the Series 2 was actually the bad balls. The Series 1 was Mad Balls. But I'm trying to get the full collection. But also, there's actually some new ones coming out, which I've actually pre-ordered. So I'm looking forward to getting that. Don't know how I survived that. But yeah, this game, a lot of luck is involved here. But if you hold the fire button down, you can actually stop your bounce directly to the spot, which is difficult when you're going at full speed. But there we go, it's a brilliant game. But what you've got to try and do is you've got to try and capture all of the Mad Balls. But you can't capture all of them. These ones are actually aristocrats. And those ones will try and hunt you down and knock you off the edge. Now you can only hit them off the edge for additional score. You don't actually have them as playable characters. But when you knock them off the edge, they don't stay gone for long. They'll be back in business. But there are certain sections where there are so many pits, and it's really difficult to avoid. And of course we get additional hazards as well, including these pyramids, which make it very difficult to bounce. We have trampolines, and it's brilliant. It's a really, really good fun game. But it's one of those games that never ever gets mentioned. But there we go. It's nice to go back to it. Mad Balls. So over the course of the game, you can actually switch between any other Mad Balls that you've captured, before you're actually hovering over a tube. Once you're hovering over the tube, you then hold the fire button down, and you can actually go to the next one that's next in the test tube. In this case, it will be Dust Brain again. But this one I'm trying to capture now is actually Hornhead, and he's one of the better ones in this game because he's strong. The toys were rubber or foam collectible bouncing balls with grotesque faces and designs. The toys sold well as a passing phase. There were two series of the original Mad Balls collectible toys. Each series consisted of 8 balls as well as a collection of Super Mad Balls, a larger version of the original Mad Balls shaped like other sports balls, such as the American football shaped Touchdown Terror, the soccer ball shaped Goal Eater, and the basketball shaped Foul Shot. I have to admit, I did have quite a few of those. Unfortunately, I don't have them anymore. Unfortunately, quite a few of them went down to the charity shop, which I'm not proud of. But a few of them I have got back. But anyway, let's try and end this on a high. Let's try and get Hornhead and knock him off the edge. Also get catapults and trampolines, and also you can also eat food. Each Mad Ball has a preferred type of food. And Slobberless, I believe, is a fishbone. So you eat it for additional points. Don't know if it actually gives you any additional skills. Come on, mate. Let's knock you off the edge. He is the strongest. What would you expect? There you go. Hornhead is in the tube. There you go. 13,300 points. But yeah, brilliant game. Absolutely love it. Mad Balls. Nightmare, I know what you're thinking. A memory? You cannot be serious. I am serious. I am absolutely 100% serious. However, this is not for the right reasons. But the reason why this is such a great memory for me was the excitement for it. Nightmare is, and will be, and always has been, my favourite programme of all time. I didn't even know there was a game that existed on the C64 until I saw it in John Menzies. Again, it's John Menzies. I bought it with my own money. That's how much I desperately wanted it. I could not wait to get home and try it. And that's why it's a great memory for me. But not for the right reasons. I got on that bus. I couldn't wait to put it on. And when I got home, I cannot put into words how disappointed I was with it. Copyright 1987 by Activision. Nightmare is a computer game released by Activision in 1987 for various 8 and 16-bit formats, including ZX Spectrum, Amstrad CPC, C64 and Atari ST. It was based on the Anglian television show Nightmare. Now for those of you who've never seen Nightmare, here is some footage of Nightmare.
Don't delay! Silent.
Yes.
Side step to your left. Get side step to your left. Left. Down.
To right hand.
Right hand wall. There's blades coming down the corridor. How long can that go? Right there. Left hand wall, quickly. Right hand wall.
Okay, stop. Okay, stop. Okay, side step to your left. Stop, walk forward.
So that is Nightmare, a tremendous program. I watched every single one, and I recorded every single one on VHS. What happened to those videos, I absolutely have no idea. I don't have any more. But until then, until the next episode, which I couldn't wait for, this was what we got. And I was so disappointed with it. And even to this day, I'm so disappointed with it. But it's so difficult. And in the old days, I couldn't even get out of this room. I don't know what to do. I didn't sell it. I kept it. But yeah, I was disappointed. But it has a very, very unusual control system. First of all, you've got to try and figure out what to do. Then you've got to try and figure out what things are. So when you want to pick something up, it can take a lifetime. You have to press T. So once you've pressed T, you then press Enter. Then you've got to select what it is. So I've got to pick up a knapsack. So you press K for knapsack. And then you press Enter. And that picks up the knapsack, which is on your back. Now, we've got to pick up a rock. Again, you've got to go through it. And if it's something you don't know what it is, it can take a lifetime to figure out what it is. So you can either spell it, or just go through them one by one. So you go to take, and we'll go for rock. Enter. We pick up the rock. Now, I'm assuming that is chicken, but it's not chicken, it's actually food. So you've got to press F. So you go T, Enter, and then F. Not fat, we want food. Pick up the food. Now, this guy just continues going backwards and forwards in a very comical way, and you do have a very, very unusual walk. But yeah, what you got to try and do is open that door, but you can't just go out to it and open it. You've got to do other things first. But I do remember you got to try and speak to this guy. So even speaking takes a long time, because of course you've got to try and know who the person is that's in the room with you. In this case, it's the old man. So we go to A, ask, enter, and you've got to spell it. Old man. There you go. I am old and will waste away. Now what you're supposed to do, I'm sure, is you'll give the food to him. So, give. Now sometimes this works and sometimes it doesn't. It's a mystery. So, food. Now what's supposed to happen is he's supposed to give you a spade. But for some reason he hasn't. But also you can't just go up to the door and open it. It won't do it. I'll try though. But yeah, you get told off. So open door. Perhaps you need your eyes tested. Ha ha ha. But yeah, it's a mystery. So in the old days I couldn't get out of this room. And I still can't get out of this room. But there we go. That is Nightmare. Not a great memory, but the excitement, I cannot tell you how much it meant to me. However, I did make up for it because in 2019 I met Tragard and he signed my cassette. So that definitely made up for it. But yeah, he's a tremendous guy. A really nice guy. But there we go. That is Nightmare. Come on, you knew it was going to be in there somewhere. R-Type. Copyright 1988 by Electric Dreams. Licensed from IREM Corp. Developed by Rainbow Arts. Absolutely brilliant. I absolutely love this game. My favourite game of all time. Okay, always time for an R9. C64 R-Type, love it. Like the Amiga version, played it absolute death. Again, didn't realise it was on the C64. It took me a few years till I realised it was, but again, it was John Menzies. And again, I couldn't wait to get home and play it. But in the old days, bear in mind this was on tape. It had a very, very long tape loading time. Each level had a really, really long loading time. And sometimes you even had to turn the tape around and play it on the other side. But it was worth it. The trouble is, if you kept dying, in the old days I did, I spent a lot of time waiting around for it to load. But again, like the Amiga, play it to death. R-Type is a horizontal scrolling shooter arcade game developed and released by IREM in 1987. The player controls a starship called an R9 Arrowhead in its efforts to destroy the Bido, an alien race bent on wiping out all of mankind. The R9 can acquire a glowing orbital device called a force. Protecting it from enemy fire and require additional weapons of your own. The arcade version was distributed by Nintendo in North America, and is the last arcade game title that Nintendo distributed. There you go. I played it for a while though. Must remake that long play on the C64. I'm going to remake a lot of my older stuff and make it better. Right, we have the force, it's upgrading. And we also have bits. One for the top and one for the bottom. R-Type was the first game to run on IREM's 16-bit M72 arcade system. Initially a joke among staff, the force was based on dung beetles. The development team drew inspiration from Gradius, Aliens, and the work of H.R. Geiger. The game's title stems from the word ray, as in a ray of light, in reference to the player's ray-like weapons used throughout the game. And you also have a beam. You can hold the fire button down to charge up. The length of time you hold it, the bigger the beam, and more powerful the beam is. Boss battle. I've killed this boss so many times. On multiple systems. So many versions. I've got so many in my collection. And this one, the area you've got to shoot is very, very minimal indeed. Got to get it absolutely perfect. Now, normally I'll actually detach the force and hit it with the force. Not this time. There we go, boom and pow! Have some of that. Brilliant game. What a memory, seeing this for the first time on the C64. My next pick is The Enforcer, not to be confused with Enforcer, that's also another horrendous game. This came out in 1987 by Powerhouse. Now I love this game, it's probably not everyone's cup of tea, but I absolutely love it. Now this has been baffling me for absolutely years, but I am absolutely certain that this is the first game I played, because when we got our C64 in 1987, we had this game right from the go. Now, I cannot remember if it was actually some sort of Powerhouse pack. I'm not 100% sure, but it was definitely the first game, or one of the first games we got. We might have had quite a few games at the start, but I'm sure this is what I played first. So I've owned this game for a very, very long time, but I still not finished it. Now, we play it as a robot, and you've got to try and find all the parcels in each level. Once you find the final parcel, you go on to the next level. But the one thing I love to change is the lives. You only get one life. And for a game of this difficulty, with so much to see and do and avoid, you need more than one life. You need continues, at least. But there's no one in place. In The Enforcer, you play as a robot that has to explore and collect parcels over various levels in the Dirge caverns, while shooting and avoiding various creatures that roam around each level. The game is a platformer game that scrolls on multiple platforms. If you touch any creature or deadly object, your energy will drain, lose all energy, and the life is lost, and you go back to the start. If all parcels need to be collected within the time limit, you will move on to the next screen. All crosses are checkpoints when you walk over them. Now, if you do fall into a bottomless pit or something like that, you do lose a large chunk of your energy. But if your energy is below 10, then you'll be an instant kill. But you do have an energy bar, and it's different per level. So it drains very quickly. And also, any enemies that are very low range enemies, you cannot reach them. Yes, you can crouch, but you can't crouch enough to shoot them that are on the ground. Again, another problem. See, those eyeballs, you cannot shoot them, they're too far down. Because we're shooting from our head. And also, we have these teleports. Now, enemies will appear from them. And sometimes they can respawn right on top of you. And again, there's no coming back from that. Now on this one, we have very, very low energy. All we have is 8. But again, we have the evil time limit. So it's either running low on time or running low in energy. Both of them are very, very mean in this game. We also have to pick up keys. Keys open doors. Of course they do. Now these enemies will keep on respawning. And these birds are deadly. They move up and down and they take multiple hits. So yes, open the door, pick up all the parcels and get to the exit. But it's another tremendous game. But I've still not finished it. Energy 5 is plenty. Boom! The Enforcer. Now on this one, we actually have 48, which is a lot, which is definitely needed because again, it's a very, very long level. And falling into spikes or flames, whatever the case may be, will drain your energy an absolute lot. And there's quite a lot of tactical situations in this game because you want to open the doors in the correct order. You want to be opening up the wrong door and get yourself trapped. Now in that case, there was actually a key there, right where an enemy had actually respawned. Now you can go off the screen and go back onto the screen and then get rid of him that way. But they can come back. They can come back, and they do come back. But that's also wasting time. And in a game like this, with short time limits, you don't be wasting too much time. But these teleports are all over the place, and sometimes there's very, very narrow passageways. Now you can kill small enemies while doing it like that. The trouble is, you don't get a lot of warning when they appear. So it's a case of getting up there and getting out as fast as you possibly can. But again, there's so many enemies that are very, very low down. If you could shoot from your feet, then yes, it'd be super, super straightforward. But again, I played it to absolute death in the old days. I got really far in the old days. But I can't finish it. Right, energy is atrocious. All we have is 8. But we're close. We are very, very close. Avoid the spikes. There we go. That's pleasing indeed. There we go. And also, they put spikes on the ceiling. And this one, all you have is 5 seconds. There we go. My next pick for a gaming memory is Wonderboy. Absolute brilliant game. Love it. Played it loads in the old days. And I have long played it. Videos on my channel. I had great fun with that one, but it was difficult. Now what makes this a very good memory for me is I've mentioned this so many times in previous streams. Me and my brother in the old days, when we played games against each other, we took it in turns. And this is one I remember very, very well because we just kept on trying, taking it in turns, see how far we could get, how much further we could get, how many bosses we could kill, how many items we could get. Now even though we know it was difficult, we didn't complete it in the old days. But I have completed it now. But it was just a nice memory that we just kept trying and trying and trying. And eventually getting a little bit further. And in the end, it was just too much. A bit like Lemmings on the Amiga, another one, we just keep playing, just taking it in turns. Just seeing how far we could get. It's a great memory for me. But unfortunately, those days are long gone. My brother doesn't play retro anymore. He's more of a Xbox One man now. But I have still continued playing retro. It's a big part of my life now. It's a tremendous game. Like Mario, you've got to sprint to get past the levels very quickly. But this time, on this one, we have a draining energy bar. Which you've got to keep topping up by picking up additional fruit. Wonderboy is a 1986 platform video game published by Sega and developed by Escape, now known as Westone Bit Entertainment. Right, this is my least favourite level, but there's a lot of levels in this game. And each time you go on to the next level, which is a repeating level, then you get more difficulty, which is expected. It's a really fun game, love it. Right, energy is draining. Now when you pick up fruit, you get 1 bit of energy. When you pick up a mushroom, fruit then turns to junk food, and that's actually worth more. Now even though fruit and veg is better for you, not in this game, it's worth more energy. You can also ride a skateboard, but I don't like to ride a skateboard when you're surrounded by water. Even though the skateboard works as an additional hit, falling in the water is an instant kill, whether you've got a skateboard or not. Right. Well, I've got 4 lives. You can earn additional lives through score. You can get a lot of lives in this game. You've got to keep moving, keep topping up. Right, now we have junk food to pick up. Right, see, ice creams, burgers, worth 2 now, which is great because my energy was low, so I was reading off a screen. Every time you reach a signpost, that's a checkpoint. Originally designed for arcades, it was later ported to SG-1000, Mark III, Master System and Game Gear video game consoles by Sega, and ZX Spectrum, C64 and CPC home computers by Activision. The game is also known as Super Wonderboy for its Sega Mark III release in Japan, and Revenge of Dragon for its Game Gear release in North America. A high-definition remake of the game was titled Wonderboy Returns, developed by CFK and released on Steam on October 12, 2006. Now, I have to admit, I wasn't aware of that, but I have to check that out. Right, lost a lot of time though. Don't want to be falling down into a bottomless pit, that's an instant kill. Right. Right, let's see how we do. Let's try and get past one boss. Now, when you die, you do lose your weapon. You can get it back, but not immediately. It takes a little bit of time. But if you can, you've got to try and find the doll and actually double your points. It's a great way of earning additional points. That is actually full energy. That is an energy drain. You also get a fairy above your head. That actually makes you invincible. You just run into the enemy and they explode. This does wear off, I'm sure it does. But at the moment we're on ice. I think it wears off when you get really low. Right, we've got to go like the clappers. Yes! Pow! Have some of that! Woohoo! It was the first in a long-running Wonderboy series of games that was followed up by 5 sequels. Wonderboy in Monsterland, Wonderboy 3 in Monster's Lair, Wonderboy 3 The Dragon's Trap, Wonderboy in Monster World, and Wonderboy 4. And the game also adapted by Huttonsoft as Adventure Island, which spawned its own series of games. Right, pick up an egg and it gives you additional life. Right, let's go for a speed run, shall we? Now, the worst enemy in this game is not the bosses actually, it's the snakes. Because they pop up anywhere. The trouble is they appear very late. They pop their head out the ground. And if you're running really fast, you don't want to run into a snake. Also, fog's actually quite mean as well. They pop. The only enemy that takes more than one hit apart from the boss. And if you can't fire, it's difficult to avoid. Right, we're on the boss. You've got to hit him in the face. Every time his head pops off, another one will pop up, apart from the final time. And each time, an item will appear. There you go. Boom! Have some of that. Top Duck, another superb game. Great memories for me, this one. Okay, this is Top Duck, another superb game. Great memories of this game. I was actually 5 when I got this game. Now, when it comes to C64 magazines, I didn't buy many, but the occasional one I did. But once the Amiga arrived on the scene, of course I was older, I was earning more pocket money, I bought a lot more. But this was actually a freebie on a magazine, and good old demo days, I love it. I miss them very much. But this one was actually a Micro Value, Volume 2, which had Frostbite on one side and Top Duck on the other, and it was actually a free full game. And I absolutely loved it, I just kept playing it over and over again. In fact, I played it so much that the tape stopped working. Not only did Top Duck not work, but also Frostbite on the other side didn't work either. It's exactly the same as Henry's House, another game I just kept playing over and over again. And again, the same thing, it stopped working. Now bear in mind I was very young, I kept trying every so often to see if there's any life in these games. And it never worked. And I was absolutely devastated. I kept thinking, I'm never going to play these games ever again. But then one day, I went to my local newsagent again, and I found another magazine. And this one was actually a power pack. And this one had 4 demos on it, including Mean Streak, Predator 2, and Elvira. And there it was, Top Duck. And I was so pleased. I just could not wait to go home and play it. I was really happy. I was a happy boy. But there we go. It's not a particularly long game, but I absolutely love it. But yes, I have long played it. It's a really good game. But anyway, at the moment, I'm being attacked by evil plants. Evil plants. Could be weeds. But anyway, what you have to do is you've got to kill the enemies by using these blocks. What makes it very difficult is enemies are faster than others. There's 2 in particular. I think it's dark green and yellow. They are extremely fast. So those are the ones you want to try and get rid of first. All the other ones are very, very slow. So they're quite easy to get rid of. But the trouble is, when you've got fast ones and slow ones together, then they can outrun you. Or they can catch up with you, whatever the case may be. But again, a brilliant game. But anyway, last level. Once you kill all the enemies on the screen, you move on to the next screen. And you start the game off with 3 lives. I don't think you earn additional lives in this game, but it's not actually a very, very high scoring game. But if you get all the eggs, you can get that 1,000 at the top by going to it with a limited time. But in doing that, all enemies who remain on the screen will be faster. So there we go. Okay everybody, that's the end of my video. That is my C64 memory video. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Maybe in the future I'll do one for the Amiga. Why not? Let's spice up a little bit. Until then, this is Jamie from Mortals Games. Please like, please comment, share. Please subscribe to my channel, Facebook fan page, and something on Twitch. Just type in Mortals Games, you find it fairly easy. Please remember to click the bell icon and notify you music. Hello, fantastic. All these sort of videos, new retro comments, cheats, habit making, and live streams on Friday night, UK time, right clock, time on the way. Till next time, ciao, bye, see ya. Warrior. An evil sorcerer is jealous of the princess in the neighbouring kingdom, as she has magical powers. And doing is good. Hang on. Okay, for my next gaming memory, I've gone for a game that ever... Next game I've picked. This is a tremendous game, actually. I haven't played it for years. This is Wildy Coyote and wrote... Dust Brain. Now, I have got Dust Brain. I would show you, but unfortunately her face is green, so my limit a larger version of the original Mad Ball shaped like other sports balls, such as American football shaped touchdown terror ball and a soccer ball shaped goal eater and a basketball shaped